I'm Rebecca Price. I am Anderson's mom. Yeah, he was our surprise little Christmas baby. So he was born via C-section and taken straight to the NICU, where the rest of his medical journey kind of began.
I am Parker Eves, and I am Anderson's dad. They did some genetic testing and figured out that he has Down syndrome, so we had to deal with that diagnosis.
His G-tube was placed at 1 month old, largely due to his heart defect. He got so tired because he was working so hard to breathe that we needed a safe way to feed him so he could grow and get big enough for his big heart repair. So that's what the G-tube helped with. And then with the fluid on his brain, it was really kind of a wait and see. He had a spinal tap to try to drain some of the excess fluid, and that didn't work. So we had a couple of ventricular taps, but his head kept getting larger. So we ended up proceeding with the VP shunt surgery. So they put in a shunt that drains down into his abdomen to get rid of the excess spinal fluid. So after he had those 2 surgeries, we discharged with him and went home and began our journey of lots of appointments, lots of therapies. And then at 9 months, when he was big enough, he had his complete AV canal repair. So that was his big open heart surgery where they went in and actually gave him separate chambers. So his blood did a noise mix, and they also had to create a second valve on both sides of his heart so the blood flow could be correct. I have a cousin who received services from Capper when he was little, so I knew about Capper. So as soon as I knew Anderson was gonna need more therapy, I called Capper right away. I knew they had a long waiting list, but I was very excited for the potential of him getting to come see therapists here, so that is why we ended up going with Capper. The first time we walked in the doors at Capper, we had been going to all of these appointments, seeing all of these doctors, and in the world of medical parenting, there's a lot of doubt placed on your child. But the second he walked in the doors at Capper, he wasn't known by his diagnosis. He wasn't the kid with Down syndrome. He was seen for his abilities, and Down syndrome was a part of who he was and not what defined him.
When I first met Anderson, he was this little peanut of a thing, but he had his head, because the hydrocephalus was very large, and he had a very hard time lifting his head. Head control was very much a problem. And he didn't really want to move, so he's come a long way.
I'm Krista Porter, and I'm an occupational therapist here at the Capper Foundation. So I've been working with Anderson. It hasn't quite been a year yet, but when I first started seeing him, he wasn't sitting on his own, would play with toys, but only used his right hand. So his left side is affected due to the stroke in utero. And so when I first started working with him, that's what we focused on, was using that left side, specifically his left hand, getting strong enough just for positioning so that he could sit on his own, so that he can start crawling on his own to get to where he wants to go. And now he is sitting independently for a minute or 2 at a time. He will grasp with that left hand. He will bring toys to midline with both hands. He's more willing to use the left side, and he's just made so much progress.
My name is Jenny Staus, and I am a pediatric speech-language pathologist here at Capper Foundation. I've been seeing Anderson for about 9 months. We've been working on his feeding skills as well as his communication. Right now, Anderson is 100% oral fed. He actually was able to have his G-tube removed. He is doing some early developing sign language. He can sign more, he can sign all done. He's starting to wave. Anderson's started to use a couple words for us at home and during therapy. He's very good at saying all done when he is either finished eating or tired of working on something or just doesn't want to do something.
Our interdisciplinary team of therapists, speech pathologists, and occupational and physical therapists all work together to craft a very individualized program for all of our kids to succeed. And Some individuals have so much personality, like Anderson. It's fun to see how sometimes we might have this kind of a plan, and Anderson's got this idea of how he's going to get over here and how he's going to express what his wants are, and he is in control, and he's doing an awesome job. And that's one of the things I love about Capper Foundation, is that because it is such individualized therapy that we provide, if a kiddo says, we want you to go here today, and the kiddo decides they want to go there, we're right there, right alongside with them. Like, okay, we can adjust this a little bit. You have exceeded what we even imagined you were going to do on this day, and so we'll roll with it. And Anderson is a great example of that. He continues to exceed and to surprise and to amaze.
I want Anderson to live in a world that accepts him for who he is. I want him to be able to experience the things that typical kids experience in a way that he's able to.
You know, just because he has the Down syndrome diagnosis, or just because he had a stroke in utero, he's not limited to what he will be able to do one day, to what he'll be able to achieve.
I'm not going to put limits on the kid. I think eventually he's going to be an independent, getting where he wants to be. And right now, you know, we're not to the point of working on walking, but I think someday he will be. And I think right now he's kind of at a juncture where I personally feel like he's about to have like a gross motor burst. But we'll see. But he's great.
There are challenges that take place in the world each and every day. And through those storms, we have remained consistent. We have never wavered or stepped away from our commitment and our mission. It is at the forefront of everything that we do. We're hardwired for this because it is that important.
Well, I think just realizing that the services we provide and the monies we receive from insurance do not match up. And so having the help from the community is what helps us to keep going. And you know, we can provide the services as family because of the donors, and that's really the only reason. If we didn't have the donors we have, we couldn't keep providing the services that we do. And I don't know that people understand just how vital that is.
Capper Foundation truly is a team. We work together not only as therapists with families, but one of those team members are the donors.
Accessible equipment is so expensive. So a high chair costs $40, but a 5-point harness that Anderson needs to sit successfully and be able to successfully eat costs upwards of $200.
Those accessible things that he needs are very expensive and not something that we could provide out of our own pocket. So the donors being able to provide that to Capper will really help him continue to progress and learning how to sit and be able to eat food on his own, and being able to use a walker to continue to get better at standing and moving around. I think them being able to help provide those kinds of things for kids like Anderson is really important.
Oftentimes our families may not know who it was behind the scenes that made it possible to give them that opportunity to succeed. We're building on experiences that many of us might take for granted. To be able to sit at a dinner table and to be able to enjoy conversation, to be able to eat our own birthday cake, and even more than that, to blow out our own birthday candles, to be able to express that, I love you, Mom, or you know, hey, Dad, let's play ball. We give hope and we give life, but we can't do it alone. It is through the generous support of our donors that we are able to allow children to advance, to live out their hopes and dreams.
When parents bring their kids here, they know that they're cared about, and we want the best for the kid. And, you know, I feel like that we look at where the kid is and we want to build abilities. I mean, that's what we're all about, is just helping them start where they are, and let's help them make progress. That's what we're all about. So I think parents feel that we're not looking at their kids and going, oh, they can't do this, they can't do that. They're seeing, okay, this is where they are, let's see where we can go next.
I get that today.
When I look at Capper, and through the years, it's like the donors have always been so important. And we can't express our gratitude enough.